Welcome back to another episode of Say What Needs to Be Said. I'm your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel, two-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, record-breaking cornerback, and 50 interceptions in the 16-game era, and also 10 seasons. Yeah, that's me, Mr. Pick Six, your boy, the one and only, the original, Mr. Pick Six. Yeah, we in the building, Monday Night Vibes, and let's bring on my co-host.
What's up?
Trees in the building, throwing up the twos for 2-3 Drees, and I throw up the twos for deuce. You know how it go, man. How we doing tonight, man? How we doing this weekend?
50 interceptions?
You know, man. Hey, that's light work, man. That's light work. I was supposed to have 70, man, but we ain't going there, man. You know, we got to have some fun. It's Monday Night Vibes. We here to take over. We taking over the off season. We taking over the season, and it's about to turn up. We going to the sky, baby. We going to the moon, baby.
Let's go.
The season is right around the corner. It's almost here.
I can feel it,
baby.
I feel it. I'm feeling it.
Hopefully, I can stop going in on these fools purposely trying to speak negatively on my name. But that's what you get when you're going against or messing around with Mr. Pick Six. They just don't understand that because they never played on any of my teams. You know what I mean? Every one of my teammates know this is exactly who I am. I got a little 50 cent in me, Drees, man. I got a little 50 cent in me.
Bring him out.
I got a little 50. I must admit, man. Only my teammates know that and realize that, man. Sorry they had to bring the B side, man. Hey, it's all about giving credit when credit is due. That it's very simple. You don't have to purposely try to negatively speak on someone's name. You can say all the great things, but hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So tonight, Monday Night Vibes, we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to talk about Jalen Hurts, Cam Newton, and the things they had to say. We're going to talk about Shannon Sharpe, and then we're going to get into some fun topics and see what we think about these women out here and single men. What do we think? Just men in general, you know, and I need some women to tap in. And shout out to the chat. You know, y'all talk to us. We talk back, baby.
What's up, chat?
All right, Dallas Cowboys, man. The Dallas Cowboys. All right. The Cowboys are on their yearly media circus run. You know what I mean? Surrounding the great Cowboys and how great they will be this year. The new campaign for the Dallas Cowboys is that they have the best quarterback wide receiver duo with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and, of course, the man who was supposed to save the Cowboys this season, George Pickens, man. Yes, the yearly circus has begun for the Dallas Cowboys. Every year, the start of a training camp, we hear this is the year for the Dallas Cowboys. And nothing has changed this year. Nothing has changed. Jerry Jones is counting on Micah Parsons to show up and show out. But he knows Parsons will miss a lot of practice in some games. But he will pay Micah Parsons record-breaking money. And let's get into it. Let's see what Jerry Jones, Mr. Jerry Jones, has to say. And this article says, Jerry Jones takes shots at Micah Parsons in discussing contract. Mistakenly says linebacker missed 6 games last year. Wow. And then he continues. This is Jerry Jones speaking about Micah Parsons and the contract situation. Just because we signed him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously, Jones said. But don't take his too seriously. Because Parsons was not out 6 games last season. He was out 4. Wow. All you can say is wow. Then it continues. Contracts are for 5 years, okay? There's a lot of water under the bridge if you step out there and do something in the first 2 or 3 years, Jones said. You can get hit by a car, seriously. So there's a lot to look at over a lot of the years that could make a big difference. Have you ever heard of any club committing to players and then they didn't pan out after they committed to them? And Jones says, yes, we have.
Man.
Oh, man, Jerry Jones is hilarious, man. Jerry Jones is freaking hilarious. What do you think about Jerry Jones' comments about his players, specifically Michael Parsons, coming up this year and whatever they got going on, 2-3 Drees, man? What is happening?
Not only did he like talk about Parsons' injury and everything, he threw Dak in there too. He's like, we made one of the guys the highest paid, and he ended up missing half the season. Like he threw him in there too, and then go to Michael Parsons like, and even if we pay him, he might not play. Like you the owner talk about your players like that? That's not build the confidence, and like you get ready to kick off the season, man. You gotta put the confidence behind these people. You gotta build them up. If you want to pay them money, man. Don't try to talk down about missing the games, man. What kind of leader is that? What kind of leader is that? You talk about you want us to pay us, but you're gonna miss some games. Like what?
If y'all don't know out there, man, this is the woke Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, all of a sudden, after 80-something years of living, he is woke now. You know what I mean? And I hope he was intentionally taking shots at Michael Parsons, because as a general manager, that sounds horrible, telling the reporter incorrect information about the amount of games being missed from one of your key players. But Drees, Jerry Jones is telling some truth in his statement. There's a lot of truth in jokes. We know that. And sometimes, and this is one thing that I stood on business, I refuse to be one of these players. Sometimes players get paid and then they lay down. Players lay down production-wise after getting that new deal, that big, hefty deal. And that's why the NFL is heading for a lockout coming, 2023? Because owners are sick of dishing out all that guaranteed money. Of course, the owners would love to keep all that money to themselves, but we're going to fight and not let that happen. Jerry Jones has to realize, man, as a general manager, you don't discuss your player's contract to the media. How does that freaking help? How does that freaking help? What is he doing?
It don't help at all. And then you got Michael Parsons retweeted something that JJ Watt said, defended, like JJ Watt's kind of defending him. Right. And Michael Parsons retweeted it today, like, man, listen, how can you start off the season like this, talking about me? Like, I'm one of your best players in the team.
Every season. I mean, I don't know if it was exactly last year when Trayvon Diggs cussed out Dak Prescott in the beginning of training camp. But every year it starts off, it's like, how do we start off training camp, the beginning of the season, like this? But to the chat and to the world and to Drees, of course, Drees is a diehard Eagles fan, and he is 100% biased.
Loving this. I'm loving this, though. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Go ahead.
All right.
Tell the players they're not worth it.
Dude, the Cowboys have a chance this year to make it to the Super Bowl under new head coach Brian Schottenheimer.
Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Come on, man. Super Bowl, they're not even chance. They got to fight for second place in the NFC East. Y'all heard about that?
Right.
Man, I don't think they got that chance.
Hey, and now if they don't figure out how to change being in the same division as the Philadelphia Eagles will always be in their way. Maybe they could fight for a wild card or something like that.
I honestly thinking like Washington is willing to pay Parsons before like Cowboys. Honestly, I won't be surprised if like they've been holding out on Terry McLaurin. I think they might want to make a move for him because it's been in the talks. So I won't be surprised if they like holding out, not paying the receiver to get both of them signed.
I could see Terry McLaurin. A lot of teams want his services. I could see New England Patriots being a good destination for him. I could see a lot of places. But if the Cowboys are planning on doing something this year, they better hope Jaden Daniels don't get better in his sophomore season. That will get crazy for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys will be potentially the fourth place in the NFC East. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't see nowhere near Super Bowl, man.
Yeah. But one thing about America's team is they will sell some tickets by getting their fans super excited about the season, like they do every year, man. It probably sold out for the next 100 years. And The problem is Dak isn't a championship quarterback, in my opinion. I know Dallas Nation hate to hear that, and whatever. If this goes viral, I know Cowboys Nation hate to hear this. And the other problem is Jerry Jones isn't letting coaches coach. He's getting in the way of these coaches and causing confusion and problem. They're probably not on the same page. You know, he has to let these coaches. He hired these coaches to do their job, but he isn't giving them that will to do their job. You know what I mean? And as the GM for the Dallas Cowboys, it's time for Jerry Jones to give it up. But it ain't no excuses this year because Dak has weapons. The weapons he needs now at receiver. So no excuses. No excuses.
Man, I got him throwing for a lot of yards. He going to throw for a lot of yards.
Yes, he may throw for 4,000 yards.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's about it.
But that isn't the goal. You know what I mean? He's going to look awesome, especially within the first 7 weeks of the season. That's how it goes every year. And then, of course, the hype train during training camp. All that is great. But let's check out Dak Prescott. His first day of training camp, looking awesome like he usually does and all the quarterbacks do.
Nice route, boy. Route. Nice route, boy. Nice route.
Woo! George Pickens, baby. Woo! Lord have mercy.
Nice route, boy. Nice route.
Who that burning? Who he burning out there? Is that Curse? I don't know, boy. That's Curse. If that's the starting free safety, running like that, let's watch one more time. Woo! But I'm just going to imagine this is the second, third, fourth screen.
Nice route.
Woo! Who was that running? Jason, that's Curse. Number 27. Nice. All right. Okay. All right. Here goes the second clip. All right. Okay. He threaded the needle on that one. One more time. He threaded the needle on that one. What y'all think, chat? Is this a Super Bowl contending team right here? Hey. Well, it's all get me back in my zone right there, man. Hey. What y'all think, man? What do y'all think about Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys so far? Looking good, baby. Hey, but the one thing about playing in the NFL and trying to win, there are so many things unaccounted for that will happen during a long season to hinder a season. From Dak's point of view, how does he overcome adversity when players aren't available or the team needs more leadership and reinforcement to get everyone on the team to feel confident again when things aren't going so well or as planned? There are a lot of areas I see Dak lacking in. And of course I said being a champion is one of them. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of areas.
You remember last year in the middle of a game and they caught him on the sideline saying we fucking suck?
Right.
You can't be a starting quarterback talking about we fucking suck. I can't say that. Like you already thinking like you lost the game in the middle of a game. Like you gotta be the quarterback, like getting your team ready, like to go to war. Like we got this. We gonna come back. But he like, man, we fucking suck. Like he already know he ain't got no chance.
And that's what I mean by that lacking that leadership reinforcement, right? Your team needs you when adversity strikes and things happen. They need that leadership to uplift everyone and bring that confidence back that we started with in training camp. And that's one of the things that Dak lacks, along with making the plays that the team needs in the most important times of games. That's the most important job for a quarterback in my eyes. But guess what, guys? It's a new year and new opportunities are here. So let's see if he could do something different this season. We have to give him a chance. I'm all about giving chances and seeing something different. What you say?
he might see that banner drop on that first game of the year and might get a little motivated. I don't know.
Yeah.
That might motivate him.
The rings already went crazy. He already seen the rings going crazy, man. So I don't know, man. So hey, the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl possibility. Will they make it to the playoffs, or will they be third or fourth in the NFC East? I don't know. Y'all talk to me, chat. Y'all talk to us. Let us know what y'all think about the Dallas Cowboys' chances. What are your predictions this season for the Cowboys, the NFC East, so on and so forth. All right, man. Jalen Hurts is under attack. He's under criticism, like Coach Sirianni said. Coach Nick Sirianni had to take up. Sirianni had to take up for him. So let's talk about it. I think the criticism is coming mostly from Cam Newton. Cam Newton always have some hot takes, and some right, some wrong. But who makes the Philadelphia Eagles a great team? That's a question for everyone. Who makes the Philadelphia Eagles a great team? I want y'all to ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. And y'all can reply in the chat. Let me know. But I don't think anyone wouldn't name Jalen Hurts as like number one or two most important players on the team. And secondly, what is the quarterback's responsibility of the team, on the team? What is the quarterback's number one goal on the team? That's another question. And that question is for Cam Newton as well, and everybody else that wants to criticize Jalen Hurts because maybe he isn't doing things the way everyone wants it to look like. And the answer is that's to win football games. Ultimately, a Super Bowl. How teams win games with their quarterback varies depending on the offensive coordinator. So if a quarterback only has to complete 10 passes, maybe say out of 15, and winds up with a total of 100 yards with one touchdown, and let's say one interception, and win, he's the man for the job. What is that to argue about? What is that to argue about? I like to refer to Dan Marino when these debates like this come up. You know, Marino, as we all know, if y'all listen to say what needs to be said, he won a lot of games and threw for a lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards. But he didn't win any Super Bowls, unlike Jalen Hurts. Cam says it's hard for him to grade Jalen Hurts with the talent that he has around him. All right, so let's listen to Cam Newton talk about or criticize Jalen Hurts.
Everybody's going to get mad at this. Cam hating on Jalen Hurts. It's hard for me to grade Jalen Hurts with the talent that he has around him. Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. But if we're talking about what they bring to the table holistically, it's hard to judge what Jalen Hurts can do when you're throwing to a guy like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. When you have tight end skill set, you have a dominant defense, the best running back in the game. Download Madden and see how many stars is on the offensive side of Philly. Like you got King Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, those guys, that's cool. But when you're comparing, Lamar Jackson still shows you why he's an elite player. Josh Allen has to play elite in order for them to play. Lamar Jackson has to play at a high level for the Baltimore Ravens, even though that they have a dominant defense. Patrick Mahomes, he got a lot of talent. But boy, oh boy, you can't put no John Doe in Patrick Mahomes and think that they still gonna win the way they win it. I understand that. Jalen Hurts does not have to play elite for the Philadelphia Eagles to win. He has to play good, but he doesn't have to play elite. We're not asking you to win the game. We're just asking you not to lose it. When you ask that question, are we winning because of you, solely because of you, or is it the resources around you? So game changer, game manager, those are the things that you have to ask yourself. And those are the metrics that I'm going off of. It's like, bro, even when the tush push, You got 5 people pushing you, bro. You got a solid group around you, dog. And the man who Jalen Hurts is, bro, I respect him. I take my hat off to him. But just because he's a great guy, that don't mean I can't critique his game.
I'm with you, Cam. Yeah. No one is exempt from critique, but everything Cam said isn't necessarily true. And we can't prove some of these things, like Jalen Hurts throwing A.J. Brown the ball. Jalen Hurts is putting passes in the right places for A.J. Brown to make these or those big plays or big catches. So things like that, we may never know if it's true or not. And that doesn't necessarily mean someone else would come to the Philadelphia Eagles team and execute like Jalen Hurts is executing. No. That doesn't necessarily mean that. That doesn't mean another quarterback will come and play better.
Right.
The Eagles defense, specifically the front four, is definitely a game changer. 100%. They are a freaking game changer. They probably will go down as one of the best in history. That is definitely true. And defense wins championships. Offense wins games. Now, Cam, we're forgetting about the past. You see what I'm saying? We're forgetting about the past. And this works both ways. You see, because Jalen Hurts makes Saquon Barkley a great player, a better player, and Saquon Barkley makes Jalen Hurts a better player, a great player. You know what I mean? Because Saquon Barkley was never this dominant for the Giants. I mean, maybe he had a pretty good season his rookie season or early on. Now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Tracee, y'all correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, that's I was gonna go with it. I mean, I feel like Jalen Hurts make it easier for everybody. Make it easier for everybody. It's just not like they all like people trying to make it seem like they all making it easier for Jalen, but Jalen making it easier for them too because he's a threat. How many times Jalen pulled the ball and ran 40 yards for a touchdown? Because I mean, they're not really, so I feel like they all make each other better. They all feed off each other. It's not just they all just making one person better. No, it's times where he pull a ball from Saquon. Everybody crash down on him. He's doing an easy throw to Goddard, and Goddard going 50 yards. Like it's all because everybody worried about Jalen running. You know what I mean? He's a threat. If he wasn't a threat, they would be going Goddard. He can't throw the ball. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So and, I feel like they all make each other better, and ain't just one just making.
Right. Everybody makes. I mean, they all make each other better.
And even with the defense, what you saying with the defense, a lot of times Eagles control the game clock. Defense is rested up. They waiting to go back there. And then they had a nice D-line rotation too. So everybody out there, like, they like on 75% the whole game. They never getting tired because they rested on the sideline. They not on the field the whole time. Then you got a great rotation on defense as well. So I'm like, everybody rested on defense. That all plays a part from the offense control of the ball. And that's how it worked last year. And I hope it continue that way, honestly.
Right. Yes. A good physical offense makes a good defense. Yes. And yes, the Philadelphia Eagles are the most talented team in the NFL. I think everyone agrees with that. That very talented. You know what I mean?
The rankings. The rankings came out like they say it's a super team, but everybody it's like nobody in the top 10. It's a super team, but nobody in the top. Like they didn't have Bond in the top 10. They had AJ Brown like 8. Devontae Smith wasn't in there.
Who knows how they're ranking these teams, but I don't know if anyone is number 1 or number 2 at their positions, but overall, they have to be the most talented team. Exactly. I don't see who else is more talented. Along with the Eagles front forward on defense alone. Jesus. You know what I mean? But because it's weird, Saquon Barkley was never this exceptional in the NFL. He never produced this well. And now all of a sudden he's at the Philadelphia Eagles. Now he's looked at like this iconic player because he had this iconic season and things like that. Yes. So that a lot of that credit has to go to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion. I don't know who else it needs to go to. And like Cam saying, he's trying to say Jalen Hurts is not an elite quarterback. It's not just about being fancy, throwing the ball left and right. You know what I mean? And another point is when the coach needs a quarterback to play elite, like Cam is speaking about, that typically means quarterbacks are passing the football a lot of the times down the field. They're throwing the football a lot of times during the football game. But that's not how the Eagles choose to win football games. So how elite does Jalen Hurts need to play or be for the Philadelphia Eagles? The team's philosophy is to be a physical team that wears their opponent down, and they do a pretty good job again. Jalen Hurts completing 45 out of 50 passes isn't what the Philadelphia Eagles needs him to do to win games. So just because that doesn't happen, that doesn't mean he isn't elite. I think we're getting it, us players and critics are getting things twisted up about what is elite and things like that. You know what I mean? Now, could Jalen Hurts win Super Bowls for another team with a different offensive coordinator? What do you think, Tracee? Is it possible?
He had a different offensive coordinator every year since he was in high school. So he's been adjusted. That's another thing. A lot of people don't know he's been adjusted to a different offensive coordinator every single year. And you say something about being elite. I want to ask you a question, right? It's times where Jalen Hurts walk up to the line, he noticed something. He checks the play to something better where he's giving Saquon, like he sees something, he checks it. Like the offensive line said that the team would say that he'll check it to give like Saquon the ball, and then Saquon break one. Is that being an elite player in certain situations where, and if it's 3rd and long and it's like, oh, we got this play on, oh, no, that play ain't gonna work. I see this play right here.
100%.
I feel like that takes accountability that people don't see those actual actions that actually happen. You know what I mean? And they take it away from them.
100%. Those are the things I'm talking about as the leader, as the offense and thing. Those are the not so sexy things that we don't get to see or you don't hear about. Yes, the quarterback has to make the correct checks when he sees a blitz and make sure the line picks up the blitz. He has to make sure the line is sliding the right way. The back has to peel to block up the loose blitzer, things of that nature. He has to make the right checks for the route, for the wide receivers to run routes when the defense make changes, things like that. All of these things are so very important for quarterbacks. So just because he isn't throwing 45 passes a game and completing 70 or 80% of those passes doesn't mean he isn't elite, you know? And that's a great point that you made, that he played for different coordinators pretty much every season since he's been in high school. I don't know the facts on that. I'm sure you know the facts, like you know the facts. But can he win the Super Bowl for another team? And the answer is absolutely yes. And just like you said, he has different coordinators, different offensive coordinators. Sorry, all they have to do is play to Jalen Hurts' strengths. Simple as that. Design plays to play to Jalen Hurts' strengths, just like the Philadelphia Eagles are doing. But there are different levels of greatness, you know, and winning a Super Bowl on a different team, that is a different level of greatness. You know? Mm-hmm. But the Eagles have figured out when Jalen Hurts is at his best and what he needs to do to succeed. So what else needs to be done? You know, how much more does a quarterback need to do if the ultimate goal is to win the final game of the season? You know, what more does a quarterback need to do? But like I said, if you're expecting Jalen Hurts to throw 50 times a game and complete 70% of his passes, man, you know, just don't expect him to be elite, if that's what you call an elite, you know. You know something funny, though?
What's that?
Back in the days, understand this, football goes way back. Football was designed to be a physical game. When it first started off, football was designed to be a physical game. Then it became more advanced, as we know, and then coaches that are too smart for their own good convinced the world that passing the football is more important than running the football. And that's when football started to become a passing league. So passing is fun and sexy. It's fun and sexy for the officer coordinators. You know, they love to pass the ball because it makes them look good statistically and for their resume. So yes, you do need to pass to win games and things like that. Don't misunderstand me. But what I'm saying is there is so much more room for error when a team is a pass-heavy team. Every blocking assignment needs to be picked up correctly and held at bay to prevent sacks. The quarterback needs to be accurate passing the ball to receivers. And the officer has to hope, the offense has to hope the wide receiver catches the ball. You know, then hopefully the ball doesn't get tipped at the line of scrimmage somewhere, you know, and cause a turnover. The point is that passing the ball is much more difficult than running the ball. All across the board, period. That's the point. You ever thought about it like that, Drees?
I haven't thought about it like that, but it got to be so much that got to go right for a completion to happen. You know what I mean? The block got to be held up. It's so much that can go wrong with a pass.
There's so many things that can go wrong with a pass, and yeah, but guess what? Like I say, the people that's smart, the scouts, the general managers, the coaches, whoever else that's too smart for their own good, created these statistics that passing win games more than anything else. So you have to pass to win games. You know what I mean? You know, and I think we get confused sometimes talking about talent compared to stats, productions, wins, and so on and so forth. And is Jalen Hurts as talented as the other quarterbacks? You know, as a passing quarterback, like the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Aaron Rodgers, and the answer is no. But he has other abilities to account for anything he is missing as that talented passer that these other guys are. And ultimately, that is to win. So the case is closed.
I ain't gonna lie, like the beginning, I wasn't a Jalen Hurts fan at all. He been so it's so many like situations where he like got out of it and like became the winner. I'm like, yo, he more clutch than anything. Like it's so many.
I think you said exactly what so many people wanted to say. When he was at Alabama, I still wasn't a big Jalen Hurts fan. He got to the Philadelphia Eagles. It was kind of hard for me to believe in Jalen Hurts and think he would go out there and do what he need to do to win and things like that. But just like he need to do in life, he's proven people wrong consistently over and over since his days at the University of Alabama. Then he transferred, right?
Yep. I'm happy. I'm happy they like the numbers come in low because he motivated. He take that and like he go off of that. So like I love it. Keep giving him like out of top 10. Keep doing that. It's gonna make him want it more.
yeah, man. Oh man, but Cam always threading the line. Let me see, tread the line. When I say threading,
some people be upset, like, why you don't put me in the top 10? He not that player. He like, thank you.
Right. I mean, to be fair, man, is putting players in the top 10 every season. I think it should definitely. It doesn't matter about the name. The different seasons should vary, but it's very hard for us to put players in the top 10 because there's only 10 spots and so many talented players out here. But ultimately for quarterbacks, they are judged by how many games they win and ultimately the biggest game of them all. If the quarterback can win the biggest game of them all, he is doing everything that team needs to do to be successful. I only could think of a couple situations where the quarterback, let's say, okay, he is an elite. He's definitely 10% a part of why this team won. And that's, when Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl with that great defense, they created a lot of turnovers. The quarterback at that time, I can't think of his name. The quarterback at that time, he wasn't that elite, but okay, he got the job done. And then Nick Foles comes in. Is Nick Foles elite? He was elite that game.
Yeah,
He was elite that game, but ultimately, is he considered elite? No.
If he played that whole season, they would have been close to like they already set at number one and all that stuff, had the home field and all that. If he played the whole season, I don't think they would have won.
Yeah, I think Nick Foles has that Joe Flacco character, mentality, and things like that. Where Joe Flacco, like I talked about with Shedeur Sanders, Joe Flacco, you bring him in at the latter part of the season when everyone is worn out and things like that, and he comes in there fresh legs, he can get everything cracking. He gonna win you some games. You understand what I'm saying? And some players can do that. Some players are not in shape or long-winded for a long season. They only could do things very quickly and fast, and then they get worn out. They mentally can't handle it. A lot of players are like that. But yeah, that's what happened to Nick Foles. That's who Nick Foles is, in my opinion.
That's what Dak needed.
That's 17 game.
That's what Dak needed with a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Get Dak 5 games. He gonna go with a Super Bowl again.
All right, yes, sir, man. So, man, football season is right around the corner. Hopefully, I can lay off a couple of these fools, not mentioning Mr. Pick Six name or using it in the right context. But until then, here we go, Mr. Shannon Sharpe. All right, man. Did anyone hear Shannon Sharpe make a statement about his legal issues being dismissed without prejudice? Did anyone hear about that? Because I didn't hear anything yet.
I ain't hear nothing.
Anyone heard anything?
Not me. I heard her statement.
I know everybody heard her statement. Whoa.
She got that retirement package.
Shaw, nor have I yet to hear Shannon Sharpe make a public apology to Ocho Cinco. Yes, I'm still campaigning for that. I'm still fighting for Ocho Cinco's apology. I may be the only one, but I think he should and deserves one. He deserves one. Ocho deserves one. The way he has to deal with Unc. But remember, Unc Shannon Sharpe had his team tell us the legal issues was dismissed. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So why isn't he making this a big deal, promotional wise, a big rollout campaign and things like that to help clean up some of the damage that was caused? You know, if it's dismissed, the blogs picked it up. Everyone said it's dismissed.
He's still crying. He spent a lot of money.
Yeah. How? It's dismissed. He didn't say it was a settlement. That's the thing, you know. But I know it's embarrassing to get pimped by a little 22-year-old while you're 56-year-old, or feel like you just got scammed or whatever you want to call it. I know that it is embarrassing and it's hard to swallow that pill, you know. But when I said in the last video that took off, when I said, where's Shannon? Everyone was like, they said they was going to get vacation, and everyone kind of didn't seem to understand what I was talking about. You know, y'all was coming for me like like Mr. Pick Six doesn't know what he's talking about. I always know I know what I'm talking about. When Unc and Ocho announced they were coming back, I said, I had a theory of what I thought was happening, and everyone said that they was on vacation. Don't think Unc was not referring to say what needs to be said on their first day back on that show when they was talking about, we see all those people talking that crap about them not being about them not coming back on the show. You know, of course they was talking about say what needed to be said, but we ain't gonna get there. We ain't gonna go there. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna go there. But Unc does know, and now he can see that we do create the tension over here. We create a lot of tension over here. You know, he just got the team to execute more frequently than say what needs to be said. They do their thing, you know what I mean? But don't worry, we are headed to the moon, baby, this season.
Let's go.
We are
Let's
headed
go.
to the moon.
Let's
And
go.
ain't no looking back, baby.
Mm-hmm.
But here is an explanation, or here is a screenshot from what I was explaining to you about Shannon Sharpe in the nightcap, about my theory of why Shannon Sharpe was missing a few weeks ago. You know what I mean? So here's my explanation real quick. Y'all show it. Y'all see it. All right, y'all see Unc in some of the thumbnails, and then you see Ocho missing in some of the thumbnails, you know, but this is at the bottom there. So can y'all get off my back and act like I know what I'm talking about? You know, y'all. They said they was going on vacation. Yes, I understand that, but some things were transpiring before all that. You know, some things were transpiring before all that. But one thing about Shannon, man, is you know, in his superior complex, he can't hide it. He exposed himself to prove my point every time. You know, and what am I talking about? You know, what am I talking about? He exposes himself to prove my point every time. What am I talking about? Back when Deshaun Watson was dealing with his legal issues, Shannon Sharpe criticized Watson horribly bad after he was accused of preying on women, basically. And he made a statement apologizing, trying to put the past behind him and move forward. What? Of course, superior man complex Shannon Sharpe blasted Watson, suggesting Deshaun Watson was not sorry for what he was accused of. Man.
So that was his turn. That was his turnaround.
Hey, now remember, Deshaun Watson was only accused, like Shannon, and never found not liable for any damages from the claims or the issue that was at hand. You know, most of the issues were settled out of court. I think pretty much all of them. I think one maybe still remain active for Deshaun Watson. You know, pretty much everything was settled out of court. But Shannon thought it was necessary to go on an attack, this, you know, degrading, talking crazy about Watson, discrediting his apology. You know, and I think that was totally unnecessary. But what did Shannon have to do? You know, why did he have to do that? Make a hot take just to throw Deshaun Watson under the bus. Hey, but how the world spins. Look at Shannon Sharpe now. He ends up in the same predicament. That's just some nasty work right there, man. That's some nasty work.
Man, that's a good memory right there. Remember that.
That's some nasty work. Yeah,
came back around, man. Now the shoe on the other foot. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Did you learn from the situations you was criticizing someone about? You understand what I'm saying? Did you learn from those situations? Or you just wanted to go out there and make your hot takes and talk your crap? You know, I think Shannon ended up in the worst predicament, you know, because he made a horrible decision not to settle the case before the news broke, and stupidly waited until the last minute to agree to a settlement right before court was about to begin. I think that was dead crazy. And we seen that it ended up being bad for business because he didn't sign that $100 million deal. But when you feel like King Jaffa Joffa, sometimes you got to learn the hard way. You know, Shannon Sharpe was supposed to make that settlement happen a long time ago. Before news even hit, we would have even known what was going on. And think about it like this. I'm gonna tell you why he settled this. You can't be charging up in that courthouse any kind of way. Let me tell you. Like that phone recording said, a big black man being sued by a young, small, Caucasian young lady isn't favorable all to that big black man going to that courtroom. You know what I mean? To me, that sounds like a death sentence. You got your peers, your jury right there. Who knows the ethnicity, the colors, the race, and you might end up with the jury that you don't want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most likely.
Most likely.
Most
9
likely.
times out of 10, you know what I mean? But I know from Shannon Sharpe's standpoint, it took him to humble himself to the lowest possible point to have to settle with a 22-year-old, that played the mess out of him. That had to feel horrible. I'm telling you, that had to feel horrible. But this ain't Shannon Sharpe's first rodeo. And though he's been down the road before, he will bounce back. And he probably spent most of that money figuring this out. But now he can head to the gym where it's therapeutic in his world and go relax, woosah, regroup, and go do his thing. But I know Ocho Cinco seen the writing on the wall, man, a long time ago, when it hit the fan. You got to believe Uncho knew that things was spruing up in the background.
He gotta go to a new gym because that's where he met her at the gym. That's what he say.
Oh man.
They said they met in the gym, so he gotta go to a new gym. He said the gym.
I didn't even think about that. Now he has to go to a new gym. You know what the best bet for old Unc Shannon Sharpe? It's probably he need to move to another state. And that it's probably something he despises and the last thing he wants to do, but that's something he probably needs to do. But man, and through all this craziness, man, like I said, even though we all have our problems, Ocho had his problems. Ocho's not innocent. I'm not innocent. Dree's not innocent. No one's innocent. You understand what I'm saying? Right. But only people that's innocent is the fake church people out there that act like they don't do no church people. But Ocho saw the writing on the wall, man. That's why he started creating, getting out there to create more opportunities for himself, before the news was published, But of course, Ocho loved Unc to death, and he got his back. But that's why you can't depend on one hustle out here, man, because life just be life. Left, right, north, south. Life just be life, man. What do y'all think about Unc, Ocho Cinco? How y'all think, man, they will bounce back? Will they regain and regroup that fire that they had coming into this media space? Yeah, I think they will. It may take a little time, but I think they got the juice. I think, like I said before, old Unc Shannon Sharpe has a lot of resilience. And Ocho, man, he just ready to turn up, have fun, and be a part, man. So shout out to the boys, man. Shout out to the boys. That don't mean I ain't gonna stay on their throat. You know what I mean? That don't mean we ain't gonna stay on their throat. But hey, so I'll tag some women in here, man, for the single men out there, to the men in general, the men that has opinion about women. We have to talk about this, and this is something to do with women, So y'all get ready. We're gonna have a little fun. And this young lady at the center of this topic is Tracee Ellis. Whatever you think about Tracee Ellis, we will see right now. Tracee Ellis Ross. Let me say her full name so no one feels offended. But to the women out there, I need y'all to tap in and talk to us because I need to understand a little better. You know what I mean? Also, I need to know if this is sufficient and sanitary enough for a woman's poom poom. Is this sufficient and sanitary enough for a woman's poo poom? Please, women, y'all talk to me in the chat if any women out there Please let me know. Drop a comment. Because we have some weird people in our world. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. Everybody's different. You know, no one is alike. No one is exactly alike. And panties, underwear, drawers, whatever you want to call them, are probably the easiest piece of clothing or necessity that a man or woman needs when traveling. You could damn near put panties in your pocket. You could put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in your pocket and go along your merry way. That's how easy panties are to travel with, right? But Tracee Ellis Ross says she only takes 2 pair of panties when she travels and uses the bathroom sink to wash her panties so she could wear them again while on the trip. I can't make this up, y'all. I can't make this up. Let's listen to what she had to say, or see what she had to say. The Blackish alum revealed essentials she packs for any vacation during an interview on stage at Travel Leisure Annual World's Best Summit on July 15th. There's always one bathing suit. This is her quote. There's always one bathing suit, a flip-flop, and one little dress I can roll up. And there's always 2 undies she shared. 2 undies. Ross 52 explained she often used a hotel sink and shower gel to hand wash her undergarments. She'll first use one sink as the washer with the bar of soap, then use the other sink to rinse off the soap and hang her underpants on the towel rack to dry. Now, how can it be possible, or how can it possibly be more convenient to travel with only 2 pair of panties? Have to wash them in the bathroom sink just to wear again during the trip. How is that possible? How is that more convenient? Make this make sense for me. Someone, somehow, please, if the ladies can relate out there, please, I need to know.
Ladies, tap in, man.
How is this more convenient, or make this make sense? You know what I mean? Yes, women.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Oh, you don't believe it?
I don't believe it.
We have a video and some content.
I don't believe it.
To watch. We're gonna watch some video of her showing us the full process of how she gets down and travel, because obviously her comments and the things she had to say went viral. You know what I mean? But yes, I do realize before the invention of the washing machine, people had to hand wash clothes and things like that back in the days. And that was perfectly fine. Yes, I understand that. However, nothing is the same anymore. The quality of water, the quality of soap, the quality of air, just nothing is the same no more. I mean, even the things we eat, you know, the quality of food isn't the same anymore. So I'm sure that washing these panties in the sink and not running them through a washing machine. Oh man.
That takes a lot of effort, man. I don't know.
Cannot be let's just say sanitary. Let's just say sanitary. Please, if anyone out there can help me understand this, please help me understand this, right? Listen, the washing machine was invented for a reason. Underwear and dirty clothes need different cycles to go through. And that's particularly from a washing machine. That's how you get all the extra things that you can't see or don't notice about it. You know what I mean? One thing about life, man, we don't invent what we learn pretty much. Nothing is new up under the sun. So who did she learn this from? Somewhere down the line in her life, she learned to do this. Someone taught her this. And maybe it was maybe it was one, or maybe it was on a trip from a traveling buddy or something like that, to that nature. You know what I mean? But that would be even nastier work if she self-taught herself this travel hacks. You know what I mean? That would be even nastier work. You know what I mean? But ladies, do you think this is acceptable? Do you think this is acceptable for a man?
For a man?
Do y'all think this is acceptable for a man? Period. And let's watch it. Let's check it out.
So I've been away for quite a while. I don't know, it's been like 2 weeks. And I have a couple of delicates that, you know, how much underwear can you bring on a trip? You know what I mean? So it's a hand washing day in Paris. Hand washing in Paris. And I'm going to show you some of my hacks. So I did shower gel in the sink, and I alternate sinks because there's 2 sinks. So I do first sink, I fill it like a washing machine, and I get in there. Then I fill up the other sink with cold water, and one by one, I use a bar of soap and I wash each pair of underwear and each bra, old school style. Then I put it in the cold water sink and I let it rinse, and I let it sit for a bit. I let it sit for a bit on this one too, before I do each pair. And then I take it out of the rinse into this sink, also filled with cold water, and I rinse it under the cold water while it's filling up. Then I let that soak for a bit. And then I do what I'm doing now, which is wring them out, and then comes next. Stand by. Hi.
So
I set them on the floor, and I lay them all out on a clean towel. Should not be showing you my privates, but, well, it's not my privates, but my undies.
Right.
I organize them onto a towel.
She's telling herself.
And then I'm going to roll the towel. Stand on the towel, dry them, and then hang them over the towel rack. And in this fancy hotel, the towel rack is heated, so it's going to dry quickly.
This seems so difficult.
That's a lot of work.
Seems like it wastes so much time. Like stronger stretch. I see you out there. We're gonna get with you. We're gonna talk about this stronger stretch.
And that's it. That's it.
It's over. Stronger Stretch says she cleared this up, and I don't know if she actually cleared it up in the interview. Maybe you can help me understand Stronger Stretch, but I did hear her try to clarify and say she meant 2 pennies in her travel bag, and that doesn't seem like a clear up. It seems like I'm a little embarrassed. Let me do some damage control. You understand what I'm saying? And now we want to talk about us men, you know, and no, we don't flip our boxes inside out and wear them for 2 weeks. Maybe we did this when we was 12, 11, 13, 14, but no, as a grown man in the 20s and up, unless something is going on, obviously you have to escape the house. You know, something's going on bad at the house. You got to go on the run, you know, men type stuff. You know what I mean? That's the only way that happens. So please stop coming for us men. This is not acceptable. Stronger Stretch. You didn't explain to me if you thought this was sanitary enough or efficient. Stronger Stretch. Do you participate in these activities? But the whole thing is, my question is, why would Tracee expose her creepiness like this when she complains about being a single woman? That's the thing about these single women out here. A lot of women are single because of situations like this, you know, what man wants to see or live with on a daily basis that their girl is washing their panties in the bathroom sink, you know? And I'm not saying she does this at home every day or whatever, but and guess what, guys? The bathroom sink is the place where she brushes her teeth. Now, listen, I'm not even saying I'm the most sanitary man in the world. I'm not the most cleansiest man in the world. I'm not saying I'm any of that. But this just sounds all bad. It just sounds all bad.
That's a lot of work. And then she's using like the hotel the hotel soap. So every hotel you go to, just use a random soap. It's not like the same soap or nothing. You just whatever they got, you're using. That's another thing. You don't even know what kind they got.
Hey, you know the problem with women, man, and I hope your wife is sleeping in the back there. You know what I mean? Mine way in the back. But you know, women can easily convince themselves that they are doing things correctly. So whatever they are doing is right because they hate to be criticized. So women lead other women wrong or in a bad direction. And women want a man to accept their idiotic point of view, like Tracee Ellis carrying only 2 pair of panties while traveling, no matter what the circumstances is. Yeah, she says she cleared it up. To me, that doesn't sound like a clear up. It only sounds like damage control. And someone probably called her and told her how creepy and funky that sound. You know what I mean? Funky is the correct word. I was looking for that word. I was funky, baby. How funky that sounds. Yes. Woo, I didn't have to say something too degrading. You know what I mean? Woo, I found that word. Hey, y'all don't know how bad that was bothering my mind. Yeah, how funky that sounds. You know what I mean? But hey, to the women out there, stronger stretch. Listen, to the women out there, I'm used to women washing their panties, you know, out after a slip up when it's that time of the month. Of course, and putting them in the showers, so on and so forth. Just the same way Tracee Ellis is doing. You know what I mean? But to make this a daily habit or something that you do every time you travel just sounds a little ludicrous to me. You know what I mean? But that brings up another good point. If Tracee Ellis makes a mistake, she quickly has to rewash those stained panties and hope they dry in time so she can wear them immediately again on the trip. Is that what's happening?
That's all I believe it, man. I think she just did that. I don't know why, but I think she just did that. There's no way she's sitting there. There's no way she's sitting there hair washing, rolling it up in a towel, stepping over it, hanging it up. I don't know.
I hope so, because everything sounds funky. Everything after that sounds funky. Yes, I don't understand. Like and then it's like, you know, when you air dry, even sometimes when you don't have a good washer and dryer and things like that, you dry your clothes. Sometimes they're a little damp and they don't be dried all the way. So I could only imagine those undergarments may be a little damp sometime when she need them. If she only has 2 and she needs to rewear one immediately, you know, you got the daytime and then you got nighttime. Everything is sounding funky to me. Oh Lord, have mercy. Jesus, I can't believe this. Yeah, I got to watch the interview or show the clip where she supposedly cleared this up, because this sounds crazy, you know what I mean? But
definitely.
I know it's a process when a woman, man, has a leak in their panties to get them cleaned out. So you know what I mean? All this stuff is totally normal. So I understand. Don't think I'm not a normal man and everything is gross or I don't accept a woman's nature. Like, yes, I understand that is totally fine, totally normal. But now after all, Tracee Ellis does all that talking about how she operates with her 2 panties traveling and things like that. Guess what energy she brings next, God? and girls. Then she starts to come with that single woman energy and advise women how to spend their single time with themselves. You know what I mean?
Doing that. Rolling the
Basically
panties in the
doing stuff
towels.
like that, you know what I mean? And my advice to women and anybody out there, man, don't be stuck in your ways. You can be doing things right if you're 35 years old for 20 years of your life, doing things how you think was totally perfect and totally fine. And then that one day you find out that you wasn't doing things the correct way. You have to be willing to accept that and move on to get better. You have to be able to accept criticism and critique from someone or something that is trying to uplift you and make you better. When people around me, they hate the critique and hate that I'm trying to uplift everyone. Everyone wants to make everything an argument, just because I see something that needs to be corrected or be done in a better way, fashion. You know what I mean? And that's hard sometimes out there. But hey, here goes Tracee Ellis giving that single woman energy and advice. Let's check it out. Ross, 52, explain. She often uses the sink. We're talking about that, right? So it says, here she goes, giving that single woman energy. She says, start by going to dinner by yourself. Let me repeat that. Start by going to dinner by yourself. Specifically, she didn't say that, but on a Friday night.
Mhm.
Woo! This is some strong energy right here. This is strong, women. This is strong. Start by going to dinner by yourself on a Friday night. See if you can do that. And you might not be a person who can do that. Ross told T+L. You might say, I'm not doing that ever again. Then you're not somebody who can go on vacation by yourself. She's spreading all this energy because she wants people to learn how to hang and be with themselves. Because that is the hand she was dealt in life at the age of 52.
Mhm.
And women that wonder why they are single think about all the things you want a woman. I mean, you want a man to accept. Think about that, women. Think about all the things that you do in your life that you want a man to accept. Better yet, ask a male family member if the things you're asking a man to accept are acceptable or even attractive. Please do yourself a favor. Ask a man. Don't just ask women. Because I don't agree with makeup, and every woman in the world tells the other woman that their makeup looks beautiful. And how does a foreign object, looks better than natural, beautiful skin? I just can't grasp that concept. Yes, if you have some blemishes and stuff on your face, yes, you can put some foundation and all that stuff. But to put a bunch of cake on your face and come out the next day looking caked up, that is not attractive in my opinion. This is just coming from a man's standpoint to the women. You know what I mean? And I'm giving this advice because, like I said, I think women give other women horrible advice. And then they band together as single women and start a movement like
Start to move it.
they start a movement like the standards. You know, we hear the standards. And now we're hearing the standards that a woman needs a man a certain height and weight and all these type of things. But the whole time they sitting home single and they walk past a man that's not the height and weight that that's their standard. And then guess what? They just continue to sit home and have a standard and be single. And last thing, right? Women just have to be willing to change when they find a man that can help guide them. and make them better. That's just at the end of the day. I'm not saying all men go out there and help women and make them better. No, there's a bunch of idiotic men out here. I've been around the richest man to the poorest man. Ain't nothing changed from the richest to the poorest. All of them idiotic, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man. That's Tracee Ellis Ross. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't know if she did that for real. That's unbelievable.
Oh man, but I have some sad news, some tragic news. I ain't not too tragic, but some sad news that I'm gonna share with y'all since to say what needs to be said. And let y'all know, man, I lost my pops. Man, and yeah, it was a trying situation. He got a little sick first, didn't just tragically lose him at the just like that. He died within some weeks, couple of weeks, something like that. You know what I mean? But I've always wondered and never really knew how I would feel if my pops passed. And like I said, that day has came and gone. Pops passed away a few weeks ago, like I said. But my pops was one of a kind, man. Pops was definitely one of a kind. When I say one of a kind, I definitely mean that. I haven't met anyone else that can come close to his character or personality. Pops lived a stress-free life. I'm talking about stress-free life. And when I mean stress-free life, I mean stress-free because I wondered how he survived so long to the age of 74, and he's been through, I mean, you name it, he done it. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that. But when I say stress-free life, I mean he barely had any responsibilities, especially when it came to his kids, right? Pops got caught up in the crack epidemic back in the 80s, and he was never able to really shake that lifestyle, right? But despite his stress-free lifestyle, I always found my dad and wanted him to be a part of my life, you know what I mean? So y'all check this out real quick. Check out Pops right there. Giving Pops a shout out, man. That's Pops, myself, my sister, and that's Mom right there before that epidemic took over and destroyed everything. You know what I mean? That was when everything was beautiful. Pops was a firefighter, one of the first Black men, if not the first Black firefighter for Lauderdale Lakes Fire Department. Salute to Pops for doing that. And Mom just as well for Lauderdale Lakes, the city of Lauderdale Lakes, right? It was two of the first Black individuals to work in those departments, you know what I mean? R.I.P. Pops, R.I.P. Mom. There goes Pops right there. Let me blow this up for you right there. That's Pops. That's who Pops is right there. Before I got a hold of him and was able to clean him up, this is Pops at the draft right here, man. I had a draft at my house back in the days, and yeah, that's who Pops is right there. That's Pops. And then as Pops hanging out, man, got him hanging out with me, doing my music things, 80s Nation, back in the days. That's probably about 10 years ago, something like that, when I used to have the dreads. And there we go, right there. That's the whole gang. Y'all blow that up, man. Y'all can see that. That's the entire gang, entire gang. Everybody. Right? There go Pops. We going to AJ, going to Asante Samuel's Jr. gang. Got the whole gang out there again, man. Pops, man, we gave Pops some wonderful experiences on life. And he definitely lived them up. To the fullest. That's my Pops, y'all, man. That's my Pops, man. Despite everything, I love my Pops, man. I love my Pops. One thing about my dad is he will always find that party. No matter where he is at in the world, he is going to find that party. And I'm not talking about how we party these days. No, I'm not talking about that. If you get what I'm saying, you know, if you know, you know. Pops love to party. They didn't party back in the 80s how we party now. And my pops didn't never have a car pretty much my entire life. That first picture I showed y'all, that was pretty much the last time my pops had a car. Until, of course, I got him his first car once I got him to the NFL that I remember him having, you know, since being a little kid. But from elementary school, man, all through high school, right, I had to find my dad, and I would go look and find my dad. Why was I doing it? Because I wanted a damn dad in my life. And my dad was usually at his job. Or should I say his business? He loved to call it a business. No, not no paperwork, anything like that. But he was at his job or his business, which was on the corner of Broward Boulevard and 27 Terrace in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. If you know, you know. Basically the hood. It was a U-Haul. And was he supposed to be up there? No. But he was there. That's where he hustled every day for about 15 plus years. You know what I mean? So I knew where I could find my dad and catch up with him, you know, for most of the time. I knew he'd be up to the U-Haul, right? My dad been through it all. He lived in homeless shelters, facilities for recovering the addicts, a few other places, church homes, so on and so forth. My dad was a survivor. He knew how to survive. Yeah. But through all that my dad was going through, man, it never stopped me from loving him. Despite me not feeling how my dad was supposed to be there for me, it never stopped me, you know what I mean? But it was so bad when I brought him around my friends when I was in high school and in elementary school, little league football and things like that. It was so bad and embarrassing for me as a young kid because I would bring him around and everyone would rank on me and talk about me so bad because I guess everyone saw my daddy's circumstances, but I couldn't see because it was normal every day for me. You know, maybe their dad and moms looked a little different, you know what I mean? But yeah, just off the appearance, it was crazy. But I thought when Pops passed, I wouldn't feel any emotions. And I would be okay, like, you know, going to the service and things like that, right? But when we got to that service, something hit me like a Mack truck and my energy changed. I'm talking about, oh man, you know. And when I made or said my speech, listen, I cried like a baby. I had no idea that was going to come out. From the time that I got the news that Dad passed, I had no idea. I couldn't get no words out because, you know, I truly love my dad. You know what I mean? And yeah, I messed up the whole speech. But this isn't one of those situations where I say I wish I would have did this and I wish I would have did that with or for my dad, because I truly can say I tried damn near everything, but nothing worked. Unfortunately, it was like nothing worked. I just had to accept him for him, whatever that may mean, you know. And I guess I had to start showing him tough love and keeping my distance away from him because, man, Pops will tear you up, man. Pops a hell of a dude, man. But I was so disappointed in my Pops because of the stress-free mentality that he chose. But it never stopped me from loving him, like I said, you know, and trying to get him to do right. And I know that sounds funny coming from the son, you know. My brother like to call me the daddy son, because basically that's what I had to be for most of our life, pretty much our whole life. I pretty much had to be daddy son. But if you know, you know, man. R.I.P. to my pops, man. Love your pops. Man, R.I.P. Kai. You know, they know pops in Pompano as Kai, man. So R.I.P. Kai, man. And yeah, man. One thing about life that someone with some wisdom told me, older person, right? You keep on living, man. You'll see a lot of things happen and a lot of people leave off this earth. So, you know, that's a part of life, man. Say what needs to be said. You know, Monday night vibes. Hope y'all had a good show tonight. And I'm gonna check in. We see y'all Thursday, maybe Friday, but Thursday. Check